friends, it's Amy and I'm your sewing teacher. I'm here today to show you how to make a scrappy table runner. This one's going to be of the boho style. This project came today at the request of my across the street neighbor. She's a really great friend of mine and she just put some really fantastic blue grass cloth wallpaper up over the holidays. This was to add some color to her classic styled dining room where she has a lot of cream, brown, and blue and white accents anyway. So what she's asked for me is to make something boho-like. Well, the boho style, as far as I understand it, is a lot of texture, a lot of print and, rope and tassels and things like that. Now she's not into the macrame itself, so I'm going to stick with just fabric. The color scheme she has is the blue, the browns, the creams, and the whites, so I'm going to stick with those colors. My next step was to lay out the fabrics to see how I like them as a table runner and in what order I would like to put them on, sew them together. Do I want to keep them alternating in color? Do I want to have repeats of the same fabric? And then I have to, from here, decide, am I using straight lines or curved lines? And then we're going to put the whole thing together. As you've already seen, I went through my bag scraps. Those are the scraps from when I'm making bags. And I found lots of large, medium, and medium-sized scraps that I can use. And those are here. So I've already figured that one out. One of the other things that I did was I had to decide what was going to be my base color for the table runner. And what I mean by base is what's going to anchor both sides of the runner. So I decided on this blue. And one of the reasons why I decided on this blue was because it is, and this is a recycled pillow, is that I am really easily able to pull off the threads of this weave. And I think I'm going to be able to make a really excellent fringed edge. So I have to go through and fringe the edge of both of these. So if you're looking for a fringed edge, be sure that you do that before you do anything else. So it took me about 20 minutes, but I managed to get about 1 inch of fringe on both of my blues that I'm going to use as the ends of my runner. And that will really begin to start the boho look. As you saw, I already laid out all of the colors on my kitchen table to see what it would look like. Now she wants a runner that is 90 inches long and 15 inches wide. Now some of these scraps that I have are not long enough. So this one here is only 14 and a half. If I'm going to make this into 15, I have to come up with a creative way to extend this so that it's wide enough. One of the ways that I can do that is to cut and reattach that fabric. Hi there. So my next step is going to be taking all of these small cuts that I have from my mask scraps, and I'm going to take my medium size ones and I'm going to piece those together in order to create visual lines that are not just vertical, that I'm going to have some horizontal lines in the runner as well. So I'm going to do this at the sewing machine. You're going to join me at the sewing machine, and then we'll come back and we'll lay it all out on the table and see where we are with the runner. Next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we are ironing all of those seams that we did with all of the pieces that were pieced together. It's very important when you're piecing things like a scrap quilt or anything that has multiple pieces put together, that you iron them so that they lay completely flat. I do have a little water in this iron, so the steam really helps flatten those seams. So next step is to start putting all of your pieces together. And again, I'm trying to make a table runner that is approximately 80 to 90 inches long and 15 inches deep. I'm going to piece together my top, and then I'm going to put together the bottom. I still haven't decided at this point if I'm going to put batting in the middle or if I'm going to just leave it with the 2 layers. That's going to depend on how it feels when it's on the table, when the topper is finished. So now I've started to add my pieces together. I've taken my one end, you can see with the frill, and I've attached my first piece to it. And again, I will iron every single seam. Make sure that everything is very flat so that it looks professional and put together. So now I'm going to get my next step, and I'm going to sew it together onto this end, and I'll be back. I'm back again. So I've just added my 3rd piece, and I'm giving it a little iron, making sure that everything is a nice crisp seam. But the next thing I want to do is I need to make sure that I'm cutting the scraps off as I go. Ooh, that's a lot of steam. Just filled it. So what I need to do next is I need to move my ironing protection, I guess. I don't even know what that's called. If you know what this is called, when you comment, let me know. I think it's just an ironing cover. Normally, if you have an ironing board, there's a cover on the board, but this is so that I don't have to use my ironing board. I can just put it on my cutting table. It's wonderful. But I'm not sure what it's called. Anyway, let's move it out of the way. And if you haven't seen my other videos, in my video called $15 Store Hacks, I have explained to you that this is actually my cutting board that I put a nice vinyl coating on, and I cut right on that if I don't need the straight edge. And that's so that I can have a nice pretty surface. Anyway, there's the video in the cards. Take a look at my $15 store hacks for under $40 if you'd like. But for now, we're just gonna cut this. So as I mentioned before, I want 15 inches wide. So I'm going to cut a straight edge because these are scraps. They're all gonna be different. And I'm just going to cut this straight. If you miss any spots, just give it a little bit of a cover. It really helps if your rotary blade is sharp. Mine's pretty dull right now. Anyway, going to get my next piece, put it together, iron it, and then cut it. And that's going to be my process till I get to the end, until I have the length that I'm looking for. And then I have to remember that I'm going to end it with that blue piece at the end. I wanted to stop you right now and explain what I'm doing next. So what was happening was that the runner was starting to get really long to work with. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do it in 3 parts. So I've done one end of it now, and that end has 5 pieces already attached together. Now I'm going to do the middle, and in the middle I'm going to have the next 5 pieces, and then I'll do the end, which will have the last 5 pieces. Then once those sections are finished, I'll put the whole thing together before I start looking at what I'm going to do for the back. over there, just a reminder that even though I'm not showing you the sewing, I'm showing you the ironing, I would like you to be sewing those pieces together before you iron them. I just thought it would be easier to not show you all of this sewing because then it would take forever. Instead, I'm just omitting that sewing part and just showing you the stuff that I'm ironing and then putting the whole thing together. Thanks! So now I've just put my end piece, the first piece I made, and the second piece together. That was what you just saw me go over there and sew. And now I have to cut my 15 inches for this piece also. I am done the topper. I'm gonna go put it on my own kitchen table so that you can see what it looks like and we can figure out what we're gonna do with the back of it. So here is a picture of the topper all the way around. For the backing, I have found a piece of really long oatmeal colored, almost perfect color. If you look at it next to the others, twill, cotton twill that I use for pants or bags. And I thought that this would be a great back. So what I did was I cut this to be the same length as the runner, only this one has 2 added extra inches on the end and an inch wider. That way I can make sure that everything is the way it needs to be. So next I'm going to pin these two together with the right side and the right side together, and then I'm going to start sewing those together. Welcome back. So I have the backing sewn to the front, or to the topper. So the next thing I need to do is I need to turn it right side out. So because I had a fringe edge, I left both ends open so that I could just tuck it and stitch it later, or I might actually leave it open. We're gonna see what it looks like. So I'm gonna flip the whole thing. And my next step is going to be to iron the heck out of this thing, because now I need to iron all of the side seams so that they're flat. So now that I've turned it, I have to iron all of the side seams so that the front is the front and the back is the back and there's no overlap. And this is something that I will top stitch later, but for now I need to lay down my runner on both sides so that it is flat and even. You'll see that this twill from the back side is longer than the front side, but that's okay because we can tuck that in at the end. So I'm back and I have now top stitched the whole runner and giving it one last press, and I'm gonna go deliver it across the street. I'm so excited. Hope you enjoyed today. I hope you see us next week. Please press the subscribe button the bell. It'll notify you on Sundays when I post a new video. Join us for a sewing journey. Could be mine, could be my kids, could be my students, it could be yours. Have a great day and a lovely week. Stay safe.